Now, your Chris 6 weather forecast with meteorologist Bill Alexander.
Hey, good evening, guys. We're looking at a beautiful conclusion to a beautiful Saturday with temperatures that are hovering in the middle to upper 80s right now. In fact, if you look at Suntide and IH37 weather bug, you're seeing clear skies, just gorgeous out there with an east-northeast wind at 17 miles an hour, just looking at 87 degrees, but as you saw in the first segment, it's been dry today. In fact, we dry enough to make it up to 91 degrees after that mild morning low of 76. We'll likely drop below that 76 this evening and on our way down into the middle 60s by daybreak tomorrow. But for now, we're looking at a beautiful sky across there, just some thin high clouds, a little bit of mid-level and low-level clouds off to our south and west. There were some thunderstorms across the northern portions of the crossroads between Victoria and Cuero, and even some severe storms earlier today. They were elevated, which means their bases were like 10,000 feet up in the air instead of the usual 2,000 to 3,000 feet. And that's because they were tapping moisture that was at that level. And those storms have long since moved off. That never affected us at all. And in their wake, we're looking at temperatures in the 60s and 70s over the northern half of the state, 80s further to the south, including our own area. In fact, lower to middle 80s predominate in most regions, and even 90 degrees to warm spot there at Alice, and water temperature now at 82 degrees at out in Malachite Beach. That's getting warm for this time of the year. But we're also looking at very dry air. Dew points generally in the 50s and 40s with lower 60s along the coastline, and we'll see those gradually starting to rehumidify as the next couple of days progresses, but it's going to be gradual. That's a pretty nice little air mass out there that's fairly dry. And speaking of dry, we're in severe drought over much of the coastal plains. We do need some rain, and we're not going to see much of that until the middle of the week. As that high pressure builds into the area, it's going to be dry and mild, almost cool in the morning, and then warming up nicely, but only into the lower to middle 80s the next couple of days. Finally, by late on Monday, that southeasterly flow begins to pump moisture back into the area, but it's setting the stage for an event that will occur a couple days after that. Notice the high pressure in the upper atmosphere over the southwestern U.S., that little ridge out there. That means fair skies until the middle of the week when we start to see shower activity move in here. With a weak cold front, you'll see those isolated thunderstorms, maybe scattered, it depends on how things work out, followed by briefly cooler air, and then that ridge comes over us and the heat sets in for the end of the week. So, we're looking at a nice transitional period here with modest amounts of rain with this event on Wednesday. Especially late in the day, we'll start to see some isolated showers and a few thunderstorms. So here's what we're looking at. Tonight, we're going to be seeing temperatures drop into the 60s by early morning hour, middle 60s that is, and then a nice big warm up as you move through the day tomorrow into the lower 80s, say about 83 degrees, looking really nice out there. Another beautiful Sunday coming up. In fact, Monday looking great as well. Then the moisture comes back in, give us some showers and a few thunderstorms on Wednesday, and then lots of fair weather and warming coming up to the end of the week. Hey, we'll be back with more news after the break.